Hello there guys, welcome to another of my live videos, and on this video there is lots to negotiate about. I am going to be giving you an update on some more transfer news, keeping you up to date of what players are linked with Manchester United. But just before I delve into that, I'd just like to wish you all a happy Easter. I actually forgot to wish you all a happy Easter on my recent video. So there is lots to negotiate on this video anyway. There is huge developments on Harry Kane, and then I will delve into a bit more topics a bit later on in the video. So according to a lot of media outlets, Harry Kane has been offered to Manchester United, and Daniel Levy, the Tottenham chairman, has agreed that Tottenham will let Harry Kane leave this summer on one condition, and that's if their asking price is met, because Tottenham have said they want around £200 million, which is obviously a world record fee. So they want £200 million. So this is how much Manchester United are going to have to spend if we are to get the player on the board. Now, obviously, Tottenham have got financial issues. Don't forget, take into the equation, Tottenham are still paying for their £1 billion stadium. I think, Tottenham do owe around £637 million on the stadium loan, and I think around £83 million in transfer fees. So obviously, they do want to offload Harry Kane. If no team is willing to meet their £200 million valuation, then maybe, Tottenham will keep Harry Kane. Now, don't forget, revert back to last month. Harry Kane had fueled a lot of speculation because he had made an admission saying, that he could decide to leave Tottenham if he feels as though the team are not progressing. And he did say, he will not stay at Tottenham for the sake of it. Now, Danny Murphy, has actually, urged you to go all out to sign Harry Kane. I'm very, very sceptical that Manchester United, to be honest with you, would pay £200 million for the player. Obviously, we're known for overpaying for players, especially in recent years anyway. Obviously, we paid 89 million for Pogba. We paid 80 million for Harry Maguire, second most expensive signing at the club, most expensive centre-half in the world. We paid 50 million pounds for Fred, 40 million pounds for Matic, 45 million pounds for Wan-Bissaka. If we want to get Jadon Sancho as well, we're going to have to pay at least £100 million for him. So I just can't see Manchester United signing Harry Kane, to be quite honest with you. But, Daniel Levy is a very, very hard negotiator, like I mentioned before, when it comes to trying to recruit any players from Tottenham. But he is a very, very good businessman. So I've got to, credit Daniel Levy for that. We've done business with Tottenham in the past. Don't forget, we got Dimitar Berbatov off them. We also got Michael Carrick off them. Michael Carrick enjoyed 12 years at Manchester United, and he is now one of the coaching assistants at the club. Tottenham, of course, have lost a few of their imperative players. Back in January, they lost Christian Eriksen to Inter Milan after he enjoyed 7 years with Tottenham, so he was a long-serving player. But there hasn't only been Manchester United that have been in for Harry Kane. Obviously, it said recently, that Real Madrid are keeping an eye on him. Don't forget, Real Madrid have done business with Tottenham in the past. They got Gareth Bale from them back in 2013 for £85 million. I think that was a record signing then. They also got Luka Modric off Tottenham, did Real Madrid. It also says that Juventus and Manchester City have expressed their interest in Harry Kane. But I do believe he definitely, will leave Tottenham. He will leave Tottenham, will Harry Kane. But we've been relentlessly linked to him. I think we've been in for Harry Kane at least for the last 5 years. And don't get me wrong, I think Harry Kane would be a great addition to the squad if he was to come to Manchester United. Now, analysing it, this season, Tottenham can't win anything in terms of silverware. Tottenham can't win. Tottenham are not in the Champions League. They're not in the FA Cup. So they can't win anything in terms of silverware. And Harry Kane has revealed his ambition, and his ambition is to win some silverware, and he hasn't experienced any of this so far during his time with Tottenham, and he has been at Tottenham for several years. Harry Kane was in Tottenham's youth academy for a good, 4 or 5 years. He's been in their senior squad since 2011. Kane, of course, has got 181 goals in 261 appearances for Tottenham in all competitions. and around 136 Premier League goals in just under 200 Premier League appearances. So he's actually, you know, Tottenham's third highest goal scorer in their history. And he's also he's actually injury prone, is Kane, so that's also another element of concern. Because he's been out with a hamstring injury since New Year's Day as Harry Kane, and I think, you know, when the season does eventually resume, Harry Kane should be available. But he's been out with this hamstring injury since New Year's Day. Back in the summer of 2018, Harry Kane committed his long-term future with Tottenham because he'd signed a 6-year deal with Tottenham, worth around, I think, £200,000 a week. As it stands now, he's got 4 years remaining on his contract because he's under contract with Tottenham until 2024. I think it did say the other week that Ed Woodward, you know, was set to hold negotiations with Daniel Levy over possibly, you know, Kane coming to Manchester United in the summer transfer window and that. But basically, you know, we're looking for an adequate replacement for Romelu Lukaku. Kane has also had a few loan spells, like I mentioned. You know, he had a loan spell with Leyton Orient, Millwall, Norwich and Leicester. But Tottenham still know how much of an imperative player he is. But I think, you know, Tottenham made a mistake, to be quite honest with you, know, getting rid of Mauricio Pochettino, because Tottenham did get rid of Mauricio Pochettino last year after, you know, Pochettino endured 5.5 years with Tottenham. Analysing the vast majority of his tenure, Tottenham were competing in and out of the top four. A couple of times, you know, they did actually, you know, become title contenders under Pochettino. But, you know, they shouldn't have sacked him. And obviously, you know, they recommended Jose Mourinho in. That was a mistake. Because, like I mentioned, Jose Mourinho has now passed his sell-by date. He's no longer, you know, a manager to the top level. You know, he's got a good pedigree. You know, reflect on the amount of silverware he's won, because Jose Mourinho's won around 25 major honours in his managerial career. I think he's on around £15 million a year at Tottenham. Mourinho, he's got a contract with them till he's at 2023. But I think, you know, the vast majority of Tottenham fans are very, very critical of him, and they do want him out. But yeah, I definitely do believe that Harry Kane will leave Tottenham, but I'm very, very sceptical that Man United will get him. Unless, of course, we're willing to pay the £200 million that Tottenham want. But it said minimum before, they wanted around £150 million for the player. The most expensive player in the world, I think, is Neymar. PSG, of course, paid £200 million for him from Barcelona. The second, I think, is Mbappe for around £166 million in transfer fees. Coutinho's on that list as well. Barcelona paid £142 million for him from Liverpool. You've got Griezmann on that list, because Barcelona paid, was it £108 million for him from Atletico Madrid. Pogba's also in that list. But, you know, if Kane was to leave for £200 million, he'd be, you know, joint with Neymar, the most expensive player in the world. So that's the latest news on Harry Kane. But, you know, there's been a few strikers on Manchester United's agenda, hasn't there? There's been a few strikers on our agenda. And like I said to you, know, there's much cheaper solutions than Harry Kane. You know, like I said, Timo Werner, he's a much cheaper solution than Harry Kane. You know, Timo Werner would probably cost around, is it £50 million? So he'd cost 4 times less than Harry Kane. Plus, Timo Werner can play in more than one position. So his versatility, you know, is actually, you know, very, very good. The RP Leipzig sporting director, he's come out and give his verdict on the speculation, and he insists that Timo Werner will remain loyal to Leipzig for this summer, and he won't be going anywhere. I think Liverpool have been emerged as the favourites to sign Timo Werner. Liverpool have been emerged as the favourites to sign Timo Werner, but, you know, for Liverpool to get Timo Werner, you know, they'd have to sell one of their attacking trio in Salah, Firmino or Mane, so Timo Werner gets game time week in, week out, you know, Liverpool. But, you know, we've still inquired about his availability, you know, Timo Werner's. I think Timo Werner's now into his 4th season with RP Leipzig. He's scored 27 goals, I think, in like 36 games this season, and he's got a contract with RP Leipzig until 2023, and he's only at the age of 24, he's the player, so he has still got a lot of years ahead of him. Before he was at Leipzig, you know, he was at Stuttgart. He did really, really well at Stuttgart. He became the youngest player to ever represent Stuttgart. So I'd actually, you know, rather take Werner, you know, than Harry Kane, to be quite honest with you. I know Kane's well proven in the Premier League, but Timo Werner, like I said, is a much cheaper solution. Odion Ighalo, It's not assured yet that Man United are going to get Odion Ighalo on a permanent transfer, because obviously, recently Sky Sports did say that Odion Ighalo has revealed that he has not yet received an offer from Manchester United to extend his stay at the football club. Now, probably we will extend his loan until June the 30th due to the coronavirus pandemic, because his current loan spell at the football club ends on the 30th of June, his current loan spell. And Man United paid around 3 or 4 million to get Odion Ighalo on loan, and we're paying like a third of his wages. But like I said, Odion Ighalo's enjoyed a fantastic start to his Man United career, 4 goals in 3 starts for the club, and he's a good cover up to Marcus Rashford, and he is highly experienced. Plus a cheap solution, it's only going to cost us around £15 million to get him permanently. Say he'd been 4 or 5 years younger, it'd probably cost us a lot more than £15 million Ighalo. But yeah, so Solskjaer did make the admission saying, it's likely that we are going to get him on a permanent transfer. Shanghai Shenhua, his parent club, the other week, they came out and offered him £400,000 a week, plus a 2-year contract extension. To convince him to turn down a permanent move to Manchester United. But we don't know yet. Maybe, we won't sign him permanently, and, probably he won't return to Shanghai Shenhua. Maybe he could go like Chelsea, Barcelona, maybe Real Madrid, or something like that. But, we will see what happens. There's been other strikers on Manchester United's agenda. Obviously, of course, Erling Haaland, he's been another one on our agenda. Now, don't forget, recently we've reignited our interest in Erling Haaland from Borussia Dortmund. Again, he'll be a cheaper solution than Harry Kane, because he would cost around £63 million, I think, Erling Haaland, because that's his release clause with Borussia Dortmund. It also says that Real Madrid have expressed their interest in the player. Now, I like, what Erling Haaland has come out and said regarding Ole Gunnar Solskjaer recently, because he's credited Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, he's revealed, how good his finishing is now. That's because of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. And he's very, very delighted about that. And, he's actually, thanked Solskjaer for teaching him, because I think it was like 3 years ago now, was it, that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was the one that gave Erling Haaland his debut at Mould, I think at just the age of 16. And Solskjaer knows the player really, really well. And it was a shame that we didn't get Erling Haaland back in the January transfer window, because I think he would have been an Ole Gunnar Solskjaer type signing. Solskjaer was keen on a reunion with the player, and he was a cheap solution back in January, because he was available for around £17 million. That's what Borussia Dortmund paid for him, £17 million, and he's got a contract with Dortmund until 2024. Alfin Haaland, Erling Haaland's father, he gives a couple of main explanations why Erling Haaland's move to Man United didn't materialise. Is because there has been a lot of uncertainty over Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's future this season. We had no Champions League football to offer. Apparently we didn't want him enough. Solskjaer was only the one really, that wanted Erling Haaland, but there you go. So they're the couple of main explanations why. But in January, Ed Woodward and Solskjaer went to Norway, to meet up with Erling Haaland. But he's only the age of 19 now, he's Erling Haaland, and he's got 40 goals this season. I think he's got like 12 goals in 11 games for Dortmund. And the other goals, of course, came at Red Bull Salzburg, and I thought it was very, very good at Red Bull Salzburg. But we'll still look to try and get him in. Also, too, Moussa Dembele, he's been another striker on our agenda. Again, would be a much cheaper solution than Harry Kane. So, which striker, would you take at Manchester United in the summer transfer window? Do let me know in the comments below. But I think it's very, very imminent that Man United are going to sign Jadon Sancho in the summer transfer window. That's definitely going to happen, I think, because Jadon Sancho has revealed that he wants to come to Manchester United. And the couple of main explanations why he wants to come is because, of his friendship with Marcus Rashford. Obviously, he likes also to Anthony Martial. I think he's an admirer of Mason Greenwood. And I think, Sancho would go well alongside Rashford and Martial in our attacking line. I really, really do. And Rashford, of course, has revealed that he wants Jadon Sancho at Manchester United next season. We do know Chelsea and Liverpool have been in for him, and I think Madrid and a few other clubs, but he wants to come to Manchester United. But Sancho coming back to the Premier League, it's very, very beneficial for his career, because Sancho has played in the Premier League in the past, and that's something else that's beneficial. He did begin his career with Watford. I think he was at Watford for several years, and then he went and enjoyed 2 years with Man City, but never really got assured any first team opportunities at Man City, and this is the main explanation why I left Man City to join Borussia Dortmund. Borussia Dortmund have come to accept the fact now that Jadon Sancho wants to leave. They've come to accept the fact now that he wants to leave. So obviously, Dortmund are looking for an adequate replacement for him. Don't forget they've got Ferran Torres on their agenda. They've also got Jude Bellingham on their agenda. But Dortmund, are going to make a huge profit on the player, because they're going to get at least £100 million for him. And Dortmund only paid, was it around £7 or £8 million in from Man City. But whether we pay £100 or £120 million, either figure is going to make him a record signing and our most expensive signing. He's going to make him our most expensive sign, if we do get Jadon Sancho on the board. We've been in contact with his agent for around 2 months now. We have been in contact with his agent for 2 months. Fabrizio Romano broke out that news the other week. So we have been relentlessly linked with him. I think it did say we're willing to offer Jadon Sancho around £400,000 a week. So that's going to make him the best player at the club. I think we're willing to offer him the iconic number 7, because like I mentioned, we've had a lot of good number 7s up and down the generations. But we'd like Dortmund to lower their asking price, but they're not going to do it. Even with coronavirus pandemic, Borussia Dortmund do remain ruthless over their valuation. They want at least £100 million. But Sancho's predominantly a right winner, and Manchester United, of course, do want a right winner. But Sancho's now into his 3rd season at Borussia Dortmund, and I think, got to say, since his arrival in Germany, he has been a revelation, I've got to be honest with you, and he's got a contract with Dortmund until 2022. The reports that have been coming out recently, though, are totally comparison to the ones that were coming out before. Because it said the other day in the Daily Express that actually, Jadon Sancho doesn't want to move to Man United. He's keen on a move to Barcelona or Real Madrid, because he's got a greater chance of winning the Ballon d'Or. But I honestly do think he's going to be our first signing in the summer, is Jadon Sancho. Don't forget, there's other players on our agenda. There's Jack Grealish on our agenda. There's James Maddison on our agenda. We're basically seeing James Maddison as an alternative to Jack Grealish. But there's a lot more transfers getting Grealish than these James Maddison. But I obviously, give you the news on Grealish and Maddison, didn't I, on my videos yesterday. I also kept you up to date of what was going on with James Rodriguez. So it is good, that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is making plans, for the transfer window. It was good what Ole Gunnar Solskjaer recently said, because he insisted that, we will exploit the transfer market when it does reopen. Because Solskjaer, is aware that a lot of clubs are under financial pressure due to this coronavirus. So quite a lot of teams across the world and that are going to have to sell, quite a few of their players to generate funds. So Solskjaer's very, very convinced that, we can get the right calibre players to Manchester United. Solskjaer does believe that we need around 4 signings in the summer to become title contenders next season. But obviously, he agreed with Mike Phelan back in September, the areas where, he identified the areas with Phelan, where he wanted to strengthen up. And he said he wanted to recommend a striker in, he wanted to recommend a right winger in, and he also wanted to bring a midfielder in. I think Solskjaer's also keen on bringing a centre-half in. He's keen on bringing a centre-half in. But as you all know, our transfer budget has been revealed. We're going to get given around £150 million to spend. Obviously, so far, since Solskjaer got recommended in, he's spent around £220 million on 5 players in 3 transfer windows. Well, he didn't recommend anyone in his first transfer window, but In the past 2 windows, he's recommended 5 players into the football club, and I've got to give him a lot of credit, for the players that he has recommended in so far. But if Solskjaer is still Man United manager next season, it will be his 4th transfer window as Manchester United manager. It is a transition period, like Solskjaer revealed at the beginning of the year. He's hopeful that we can get through this transition period. But reiterate what I said on my recent videos, I think Solskjaer does deserve at least another season at Manchester United. And if it doesn't work out next season, that's when I would sack Solskjaer. But he does deserve at least a couple of more windows. Because, he needs time to rebuild a good squad. And like I mentioned before, not every manager settles in straight away. Like I said, Ferguson didn't win out in his first 4 years when he came to Manchester United. Jurgen Klopp didn't settle in straight away. Liverpool, it took him time, to rebuild a good squad. So Solskjaer does deserve time. He definitely does deserve time and that. Because we at Manchester United are not really known for the sacking football club, and we haven't really got the structure to keep sacking managers, despite the fact that we've sacked 3 managers since the Ferguson era. We sacked Moyes, we sacked Louis van Gaal, and we sacked Jose Mourinho. But we have been playing catch-up for the last 6 or 7 years. The managers we've had, they've had different philosophies and that. We've spent nearly £1 billion on recruiting new players in. Yeah, about £1 billion on recruiting new players in the last 6 or 7 years. And we've recruited over 30-odd players in since the Alex Ferguson era and that. So a hell of a lot of money has been invested into the football club. Obviously, nearly the £1 billion we've spent is obviously including, what we've spent under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. But like I said to you, the vast majority of this team is Jose Mourinho's, because Jose Mourinho recommended 11 players in and spent around, was it 400 million or just under 400 million pounds. Mourinho endured 2.5 years at Manchester United. But the main explanations why it didn't work out under Jose Mourinho is, because he had bad disputes with the board. He had bad disputes with the top players. I think if Mourinho would have been here now, probably Martial, Shaw and Pogba, maybe even Fred would have been gone, because, they had bad relationships with Mourinho. Fred didn't get any opportunities hardly under Jose Mourinho. He did win 2 trophies in his first season, but I've got to say we recommended him in too late. Van Gaal, I think he recruited a good, 14 or 15 players in, if I can remember rightly. He recruited a lot of players in. We did win the FA Cup under Louis van Gaal's guidance, but, wasn't the right manager. Moyes only managed to recruit 2 players in. He bought Juan Mata and Manny and Fellaini in. So a lot of, players have come to Manchester United and left in the last 6 or 7 years or so. But I've just got to show one thing. I don't think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer will involve Ferguson's legacy at the football club. But there's things, like I said to you on my recent videos, that I credit Ole Gunnar Solskjaer for, because he has now been at Manchester United 16 months. He has been here over a year now, but he's been permanent Manchester United manager for a year. I've got to credit him, for the players that he's recommended in so far, Solskjaer. I've also got to credit him, because he has got rid of a lot of the deadwood since he has come in. We saw Young leave this year after he endured 8.5 years at Man United. He went and went to Milan. We also saw Rojo go out on loan to Estudiantes. We saw Chris Smalling go out on loan to Roma last summer. I give you the news regarding Chris Smalling this morning. He could be coming back to Manchester United now. Roma want to get him permanently, but obviously, they've got financial difficulties, so they may not be able to. Darmian left last summer. He went to Parma. Herrera left after he endured 5 years at Man United. He went to PSG. Fellaini left in January 2019. He went to China after he endured 6 years at the club. We're going for just over £27 million under Moyes, like I mentioned. And obviously, Lukaku left last summer, and so too did Alexis Sanchez. He went out on loan to Inter Milan. I've already given you the news on Sanchez, so the outcome on that at the moment. Dean Henderson's out on loan, but I think Dean Henderson is expected to return after his loan spell with Sheffield United. And Valencia, of course, left at the end of last season after he endured 10 years at Manchester United. So it's good that he's got rid of a lot of the deadwood. But he's planning to get rid of around 5 or maybe 6 players this summer. So if we can do that, then our transfer budget will increase, especially if we can get rid of Paul Pogba. Now, the players that I think that are going to leave Man United, I think Jones is on his way out of the football club, definitely, because Jones can't even get into the team now. I definitely think we're going to get rid of Lingard and Andres Pereira, because there are 2 liabilities, are Lingard and Pereira. We'll probably negotiate and getting rid of Rojo on a permanent transfer. Fossil-Mensah, I thought he would have been going, but now he's not, because don't forget recently we triggered a 1-year extension on his contract, but Fossil-Mensah is still going to find game time very, very difficult. So yeah, Pogba, he probably will leave Paul Pogba, but nothing is assured as yet if Paul Pogba is going to leave the football club. I think we've quoted out that want at least £100 million for Pogba. We want at least £100 million for Paul Pogba if we do let him go when the transfer window does reopen and that. I think, if Pogba leaves, he'll make a return to Juventus. Because, don't forget, Paul Pogba did enjoy 4 good years with Juventus before he came back to Manchester United. If he doesn't go to Juventus, I think he will go to Real Madrid. You already know the news anyway on Paul Pogba, don't you? He's recently spoken about the issues he's had with his injuries this season, and he told our podcast, that he's become very, very frustrated with it, but he says, he will come back stronger when the season does resume, because that's when Paul Pogba will be back. Pogba's only played 8 times this season for Manchester United due to his injuries. I think the last time he started from the start was back in September of last year. I think Juventus is his first choice. Mini Raioola's had negotiations with Juventus. I think he's also held some talks with Real Madrid, but Mini Raiola has been talking a lot since the turn of the year. Ed Woodward's also had some talks with Mini Raiola over trying to resolve Paul Pogba's future at the football club. Yes, and that. But as it stands at the moment, Pogba's got 2 years left on his contract at Man United, 1 year with an option of a further year, but more than likely will trigger that 1-year extension on his contract. Obviously Fabrizio Romano, he broke out the news saying that, Paul Pogba's got no intentions of buying out the remainder of his contract for £50 million, because the Sun isn't a reliable source, but the Sun did say that Pogba could take a FIFA transfer regulation to buy out the remainder of his contract, but I don't think now that is going to happen. Paul Pogba could have quite easily left last summer. I thought he would have done, when he come out and publicly admitted that he wanted to leave, and he said he was seeking for a new challenge. But obviously, we priced him out of last summer's market, because we wanted 180 million last summer, and Real Madrid were reluctant to meet that. Real Madrid was actually, his preference last summer, because Paul Pogba was talking a lot last year about his dreams of playing under Zinedine Zidane and stuff like that, and Pogba, seems to have a good relationship with Zinedine Zidane, and his agent Mini Raiola has also got a good relation with Real Madrid. So let's just put that into the equation. We paid 89 million for Pogba. He's our most expensive signing at the moment. He enjoyed a very difficult time under the Jose Mourinho era. Don't forget, we had Pogba when he was a lot younger under the Alex Ferguson era, but we had to let him go on a free transfer due to limited appearances. So let's just put that into the equation. There's also been swap deals on the agenda. Don't forget there was talks of James Rodriguez coming to Man United as part of a swap deal of Pogba going to Real Madrid. The other week there was talks of De Ligt coming to Man United of Pogba going back to Juventus. There was talks of Ramsey coming to Man United as part of a swap deal of Pogba going to Juventus. So swap deals have been on the agenda, but swap deals are very, very rare in the modern game. But I still believe, Pogba would go very, very well alongside Bruno Fernandes in our midfield. I really, really do. Them playing in our starting 11, I think Pogba would probably play in the number 6, because Pogba's versatility is good. He can play in the number 6. You can play him in the number 8. But we'll revert back to what I said on my recent video. Bruno Fernandes is predominantly a number 10, isn't he? We need to keep Bruno Fernandes in his position to keep getting the best out of him. Because if you put Bruno Fernandes as a central or a holding midfielder, that's when he could possibly become a liability. But Fernandes, he's just made the difference in the team completely. I've got to give Bruno Fernandes a hell of a lot of credit. So I think they're the players, that are going to be leaving Manchester United. Solskjaer's approach to the big games this season's also been very, very good. What I mean is he's showed a lot of tactical flexibility. Also, too, we was in a good vein of form before the season got suspended. We are unbeaten in our last 11 games in all competitions. Best vein of form since Solskjaer was the interim manager, so that's another positive. I think he's promoted the youth very, very well. You know, the young players have been given their opportunities. Other positives about Solskjaer is that, you know, he was a great player for the football club for 11 years. And yeah, so these positives you can take from his tenure, like I said. We've also had some good results under Solskjaer, but there again we've had some bad results. I think the best results we've had under Solskjaer was the 5-1 win against Cardiff. That was his first game as Manchester United manager. 6-0 win against Tranmere in the Cup was also very, very good. 5-0 win against Lask. That was our last game we played. 5-0 win against Club Brugge. That was also a very, very good game. The wins against Manchester City have also been very, very good. So yeah, 4-1 win against Newcastle. So we've had some really, really good results. 4-0 against Chelsea on the opening day of the Premier League season. You know, but we've had, I think our worst defeat with Jordan under the Solskjaer era was the 4-0 defeat to Everton last season, wasn't it? So, and he came out of that game and actually apologised. So Solskjaer's still under pressure, you know, to keep this good run of form up, you know, when the season does eventually resume. I think the season is set to resume in July. And it will be played behind closed doors, of course, for public health reasons. And I think this current season would have finished in August, because next season, of course, starts in August and that. But yeah, they basically just said, you know, it will resume when it is safe to do so. So yeah. So anyway, guys, drop your comments, likes below on the channel. If you do, consider subscribe as always, and take care. God bless. See you all again very, very soon.